IDF soldiers arrested for committing heinous acts. And when I say heinous act on a detainee. Here it is.
התחושה שלך מול המערכת, מול צה"ל, מול הפרקליטות.
אני חושב שצה"ל שלנו הוא צבא בריא ביותר. המפקדים, הלוחמים, אנשי השטח. אם יש מישהו במערכות למעלה שרוצה לקלקל לנו, אני פה להגן על שמנו הטוב. שמחתי מאוד שהימין יודע להתעורר בארץ ישראל. אני לא רוצה להיכנס לימין ושמאל, אבל זה בסוף יוצא ככה, זה לא יעזור כלום, כי הצד הימני הוא זה שקם. עם ישראל יודע להתעורר כשצריך.
Middle East Eye reports. Last week, Israeli media published footage showing the moment soldiers in an infamous detention facility sexually violated a male Palestinian detainee. Israeli media reported Wednesday 2 of the accused reservists lied on a polygraph test and asked if they had, in fact, sodomized the prisoner. It wasn't until late last month when 9 Israeli soldiers were arrested for the alleged crime in that facility, southern Israel's Negev desert. Per reports, the victim was taken to a hospital, a public hospital away from the detention center with a ruptured bowel, a severe injury, lung damage, broken ribs, and he was in a life-threatening condition. With millions watching and many people benefiting from this program called Indisputable, we just need 1% of the viewers to become a paid member so we can continue to bring this content to you. Now back to the show. Since Israel's war on Gaza began in October, many Palestinians detained by Israeli forces have said they were sexually abused by troops. However, no one has been arrested, or no one was arrested until July 29th, when military police raided the facility, clashed with the soldiers and took them into custody. The incident created a backlash. Now here's the dynamic with a far-right mob that included an MP and minister storming the detention center and a military court in protest against the arrest. More civilian protests have occurred even more recently. Video of the protests circulating online show protesters defending the actions of the soldiers. Now, why would they ever defend a sexual assault? Why would they defend a sexual assault? And the people who did it, they got them all the way. Because they have devalued the humanity of a Palestinian. The treatment is the after effect of the indoctrination. And when they taught that these individuals, they're not human, even if they are innocent, so to speak, still, it doesn't matter, they're not human. You see, we know about that in America because that was the contextualization of Black folk. There's more. The footage released by Channel 12, taken from evidence used in the investigation, shows detained Palestinians lying on the floor with their hands and eyes covered. A group of reserve soldiers are then seen taking one of the detainees aside, then trying to hide their subsequent actions with riot shields. The reservists are members of Force 100, a unit that has the job of guarding the prisoners. About 4,000 Palestinians have been detained from Gaza in Israel since October. Most are detained and interrogated in the enclave, but many are brought to the area even if they are non-combatant. Torture, sexual violation, murder have all been reported. One of several facilities where Palestinians have been mistreated for decades. July 15th, Israel's High Court issued a conditional order seeking to close the facility in response to the report of abuse or reports thereof. The court's order seeks an explanation also as to why the detention facility is not operating in accordance with the conditions set forth by the law governing internment and unlawful combatants. The investigations by Middle East Eye, CNN, and New York Times found widespread examples of abuse at the center. CNN reported last week the U.S. State Department called allegations horrific, okay, and said Israel must investigate swiftly and fully. State Department spokesperson Matthew Miller said during a press briefing, quote, "There ought to be zero tolerance for any sexual abuse of detainees, period." But they're not even supposed to be there. Can we start with that point? They're not even supposed to be there, and you all keep giving all this damn lip service. Yeah, we know it's horrific, okay? Meanwhile, Common Dreams reported that while human rights groups called for an investigation into the leaked recording, Israeli leaders, including the finance minister on the left on Wednesday, also demanded a probe of the video, not to seek justice for the victim, but rather to find and punish whoever leaked it. Smotrich took the social media Wednesday to call for an immediate criminal investigation to locate the leakers of the training video that was intended to harm reservists that caused tremendous damage to Israel and the world, and to exhaust the full severity of law against them. You know, that sounds like when Trump was president, he didn't care about the actions of transparency. He wanted the leakers. Give me the leakers. There's more. While many Israelis, they did in fact condemn these alleged crimes, others rallied around the accused reservist. One official described them as heroic warriors because they sexually sodomized a defenseless man. I've said this before. It's global. It's not just in America, not contextualized here. It's contextualized everywhere. We reported last week on a far-right mob and whole another nation trying to utilize a horrific event, manipulate it to the masses so they could start basically a race war. It was a war against Muslims. So here we are. An actual criminal element gets arrested by their own government, and members of their own government defend their actions of sodomy. All right, Mr. Mayor, thoughts here?
This is absolutely unbelievable. What message are you sending to whistleblowers in Israel? If you snitch, if you tell on anybody in our government, if you tell on anybody in our military, whatever they're doing, and we know these have been documented since this war has begun, we saw them killing kids indiscriminately, regardless of how people feel about that statement. That is a fact at this point.
Fact.
People, and I keep saying this, and people need to hear this. Gaza is a lot smaller than the United States of America.
That's right.
These people are getting close to the number of people we lost in all of Vietnam. From that one space, you cannot believe there are no humanity crisis and violations of war happening. And to hear this and to see the attitude that the government take is absolutely disgusting to me. Anybody that's calling for the leaker of this video should be fired, should be condemned, should be recalled. There should be an election on their head right now.
Yep.
Because this tells me that you are in power for the wrong reasons. These are the people that want to eliminate every person that's not Israeli in that space. This is disgusting behavior. Absolutely.
I wish I could say it's going to get better before it gets worse. Who's holding them accountable? College students on campuses doing what they can do, right? You got some real progressives out here who are speaking truth to power like you and I and others. But who's really holding them accountable